What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and despite me not actually liking the game, actually, I'd probably even go as far as say I hate its existence, and the fact that the game exists annoys the shit out of me. But yeah, we all know what Destiny is, unfortunately. Destiny is a game that launched in 2014 to resounding disappointment to the world over, yet for some reason it still got good reviews. It joins Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, in games in a very, very short list of games that makes me lose absolutely 149.6% credibility of any media news outlet whatsoever, because I'm not going to get in. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to get into it because I'll be fucking ranting about that the whole day. But the big thing I want to talk about in this video is that allegedly some sources, this is all coming from a Kotaku article, which I'll have linked in the description below for you to check out yourselves. But it's all coming from a Kotaku article that comes from allegedly several different sources. So before I would get into the whole thing, this is all potentially leaked, potentially faked, potentially rumored. All of it could be wrong. Some of it could be wrong. None of it could be wrong. We'll see how it goes anyway. But as it stands at the moment, allegedly, Destiny 2, which is, due out in probably September of next year, 2017, which is the actual proper sequel style game in both size and capacity, most likely, to Destiny. And it's supposedly obviously coming to PC, and it's supposedly going to feel like an entirely different game and experience than existing Destiny as it is. Now, there's a couple of reasons for this. One, first off, some of the writers at Kotaku have allegedly been in contact with some people close to Destiny 2 over the last couple of weeks, and some of the internal stuff that they've been told about, or allegedly been told about, has also come from just some random person on NeoGAF who says that he has a friend who works at Activision. They were briefed on this today. Some non-public stuff as well that matches up with what the bloggers have heard several weeks ago. So it could be, we'll see how it goes anyway. But like I said, it's all up in the air at the moment, and who knows where the fuck this is going. Likely we won't hear anything official about Destiny 2 for probably about 6 to 8 months. Rise of Iron, the latest expansion DLC, just launched a couple of weeks, like 2 weeks ago, I think it was, if even that long. So it's going to be like 6, maybe 8 months, probably E3 next year before we actually hear anything official about Destiny 2. But anyway, yeah, so some of the main things to actually note is the fact that, one, it's potentially coming to PC. What do I care about that? I don't even know at this point. Depending on how much it changes and how much it's allegedly, supposedly going to shake everything up for Destiny 2. If it's anything even remotely like Destiny 1 or the systems or gameplay in Destiny 1, it can fucking die. That's all I can say. I doubt I'll ever play it on PC. Most likely 99.9% sure I'm never going to play it again on console anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me, at least. But for plenty of people out there who either have consoles and PC, or don't have consoles and only have PC, it's obviously good news for them. I'm not going to shit all over what could potentially be good for them just because I don't like it. It's all my experience and my opinion, you know how it is. But I'll get into it now in a minute as well. There's one or two things I still want to talk about in the actual leaks and potential leaks, if you will, versus what I feel about Destiny as it is. So, other than what I've covered so far already anyway, when you look at The Taken King, which was the DLC expansion that had basically no content and lasted a year somehow, that was released last year in September of 2015, that was allegedly, supposedly at least anyway, from someone familiar with development, if you will. The Taken King was supposedly a reboot for Destiny 1 to fix a lot of small things, and Destiny 2 is apparently to fix a lot of the big things. Now, that's one of the things I want to start giving my own opinion on when it comes to right here. For the simple reason is, when I first played the beta for Destiny, I was absolutely flabbergasted. Not in a good way. I was flabbergasted that this game could potentially release in that state. It was one of the worst games I had ever played. It was one of the most boring and mundane and bare bones games I had ever played. I was assuming a couple of things at the time. I was like, okay, the game is a few months out from launch. I think it was maybe 3 months out from launch at the time. And I was thinking, okay, one, they're obviously going to put in a very, very small amount of content, even for this place, even for the beta. And two, it'll be a bit better playing it with friends. Sure, it was a bit better playing it with friends. But when the game actually launched, that first one I was talking about, no, didn't happen. Game was bare bones as fuck. The entire world felt basically useless, useless and almost empty and pointless. The entire story was a fucking joke. The campaign and how it all played out was absolutely atrocious, which is, I know a lot of the people originally involved with Halo, when Bungie were developing Halo, actually left before Destiny. So it's understandable that it wouldn't be as good when it comes to, say, story stuff and just anything along the narrative and the campaign design when it comes to Halo versus when it comes to Destiny. So the fact that this was even worse than I could ever have fathomed just blew my mind. And it didn't just stop there. There was so many fundamentally flawed things. And what's especially evident when it comes to this is you have Destiny 1 when that launched. There was the first DLC for Destiny, which was the Dark Below, which released a couple of months after. I think it was 4 or maybe 6 months after the game actually launched. And that kind of just was more of the same of original Destiny. It was very little content added in to the actual base game, and it was essentially more of the same. There was 1 or 2 very minor differences, but other than that, it was just more of the same. When the fact that at that point, Bungie had realized there was so much fundamentally wrong with Destiny, they actually completely, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but if you kept up with Destiny, you probably do. The second DLC, which I believe came out in May of 2015, the House of Wolves, I was going to say the Taken Wolves for a second, but yeah, House of Wolves, a little bit before that actually launched, they completely redid that DLC to cover, not so much cover actually, that's a bad word, but to rectify several massive issues with original Destiny and the Dark Below. A perfect example is they actually removed the raid, which was never put into the game properly, from House of Wolves. The reason I say put into the game properly is because the raid that was just added in Rise of Iron is actually, it supposedly is based heavily on the removed raid, as well as may contain a lot of actual content from that raid. So for all we know, that like 50% of that raid is as it would have been in House of Wolves in year 1. So the fact that they completely redid that DLC at such a late point to rectify those mistakes that they had done, and the fact that it suffered in the long run because of it, it really goes to show. And this is where something else I want to bring up comes in as well. This is something I've been saying for years, and I'm probably still going to be saying it for the next 7 or 8 years, because we all know Destiny is a 10-year plan. So when year 1 was going on for Destiny, and this will apply for everything I'm saying now and everything I'm saying years from now as well, and everything that's happened already. So when year 1 was going on, Bungie were talking about, no, the way we have everything is perfect, it's brilliant, nothing needs to be changed, this, that, and the other. And yet we could slowly and subtly see them change some of this stuff. And then as soon as year 1 was finished and year 2 was out, they were saying, okay, we know we completely fucked up year 1, but year 2 is not going to be like that. We're fixed with year 2. So all throughout year 2, they would keep going on. It's like, no, year 2's cool. Year 2's fine. There's no problems here whatsoever. We fixed the mistakes from year 1 with year 2. And then year 2 finished. And now year 3 has started. And what do we have again? The same deal. It's like, well, we know we fucked up with year 2. Here's year 3 though. This is brilliant. This is fixed. You don't have to worry about any of the previous stuff. So you get the idea. And that's going to be going on especially heavy with Destiny 2. And the main reason I can say that with confidence is, if this is all true, the fact that it's supposedly trying to be felt to make feel, I should say, like a completely different game, vastly different game, is pure evidence of that. And the fact that year 2 was such a fuck up, and year 1 and 2 combined were such a fuck up, that they actually, if you remember, year 2, or well, Destiny 2 was originally supposed to launch this September. About 2 weeks ago is when we should have had Destiny 2. But it was so completely fucked from year 1 and year 2, they actually delayed the proper sequel another year, threw in an absolute bare bones DLC to go and do people for another year, and for some reason people ate it up because they're fucking idiots. And Destiny is... no, Destiny is a joke, but yeah, I would have just started ranting on there because I really dislike Destiny. But here, another perfect example is when the guy who is now in charge, the director, Luke Smith, who is now allegedly the director of Destiny 2, when he became the director of Destiny 2, he completely threw out everything they had done for Destiny 2. This was right about the time, or this would have been shortly after the time where The Taken King came out. And this was when they announced that Destiny 2 was going to be delayed by a year. So I think that speaks volumes, just because of all that. Because of they realized what their original plan for Destiny 2 would have been a continuation of Destiny 1 and Destiny 1.5, which was year 2. So they realized, hang on, we need to fuck this out and we need to start over from scratch. Because they know. And it's going to be the same for year 4. It's like, oh, well, you know, we knew we fucked up year 3, but year 4 is fine. And a couple of years from now, it's going to be, well, we know we fucked up with years 1 through 7, but here's year 8. This is going to be fine. And if you listen to them and believe them, it's your own fucking fault. Fool you once, shame on them. Fool you 9 more times, shame on you. That's all I say. So I'm going to quickly get back to one or two of the other things that was talked about in the actual alleged leak anyway. But one of the big things that we're supposed to be going to be hearing a lot about when it comes to Destiny 2, and when they're actually talking proper details with it, is something that they're going to call play-in destinations. What this is described as is, it sounds like I won't say a bit more of an expanded version of the patrol areas as it is in the game, in Destiny as it is now, because the patrol areas in Destiny are fucking hopeless. The missions you can get in there are fucking useless. The extra little side stuff in there is absolutely appalling, and there's just nothing to do, and it feels so empty, so boring, so monotonous, and so pointless. And I'm pretty sure if any of you people that are not hardcore Destiny fanboys, I know you can be a Destiny fan, that's fine, but anyone who is listening to this and is not a Destiny complete fanboy can probably agree with me, or can, even if they don't completely agree, they can probably see why someone would think that. And yeah, you get the idea. Now, one of the other things as well is that, first off, the whole play-in destination thing, yes, their patrol mission area it completely needs a revamp, because like I just said, it's fucking hopeless as it is at the moment. It is nice to see that they're dropping previous console support. They've already dropped last gen console support for Rise of Iron that came out in the last 2 weeks. It no longer supports Xbox 360 and PS3, so that's obviously going to be the same going forward with Destiny 2 and whatever comes after that onwards. And the fact is they'll probably all support PC onwards too, so you know that's another boon for certain people. But here's one thing that's a big point of contention for people who talk about this at the moment, is because it's going to be a vastly different game, or allegedly going to be a vastly different game, will it allow you to carry your characters over? Will it allow you to transfer maybe, or convert them to a Destiny 2 format? Who knows? The reason for that is, one, if it's going to be vastly different, that's a major change as it is. That could change so much in relation to the actual classes, as well as the subclasses, as well as the different types of perks and weapons and style. That could all drastically change to the point where, if they do allow you to transfer it over, it will basically be like a completely different character with completely different skills, completely different weapon types, or completely different gameplay controls and types and mechanics. as well as different skills and all that shit as well. So it could almost be something completely different, even if they do let you carry your character over, even if it's just for, say, I won't say nostalgia's sake, but for the likes of, say, keeping your level. Maybe not your light level, maybe that's one thing that would possibly need to change, because the current light level, and it's just basically item level, is it's kind of crap, really. Yeah, so that's basically it. Obviously, none of this is official yet, as we know. None of it has been completely finalized, and it could go any which way at this point either. So we'll see how it goes. I personally, as you've probably, or as I stated in this video, and you could probably pick up on it as well, I actually hate Destiny. I think it's a complete farce. The fact that the game is any way, shape or form popular is an insult to gaming, because when I look at basically every system in Destiny, I think they're just the worst variations on any system from a different game. They just feel so bare bones and so basic. It almost feels like Destiny was made by a studio who have absolutely no idea on what they're doing. And the fact that it's Bungie who have a good track record, an excellent track record for some of this stuff, it really just goes to show that Bungie is literally just a name at that point, and the actual original talent who was responsible for many of the Halo things and many of the systems and gameplay mechanics, story, etc., many of them have moved on, and it's painfully obvious if you ask me. But we'll see how it goes anyway. I don't know if I'll be bothered talking much about Destiny. To be honest, the only reason I made this video is because I like to reinforce the fact that I was right. And that's the way I see it. So that's the way I'm making this video. Hopefully I can rescue a couple of you people who are indoctrinated by Destiny for some ungodly known reason. I mean, maybe the Traveler has come down and put a black tentacle up your hole, for all I know. I'm here to pull that tentacle out and rescue you. That's all I can say. Anyway, if you're a Destiny fan, or what you think of Destiny to its current point, have you rage quit once you saw that the game was an absolute joke? Any of that, or what do you think of these potential changes for, or potential leaks for Destiny 2? The fact that it'll be coming to PC, are you happy about that? Are you worried that they may leave you behind because of a vastly different game experience, or because possibly not even bringing the characters, or whatever we've talked about in this video? Let me know all that anyway in the comment section below. You can hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel.